This tutorial's about applying annotations using text. Just a reminder that annotations are not labelling, or isn't labelling. Labelling is where you just state the obvious and say what something is. Annotation gives a little bit more information. So some of the basic rules then. First of all is you've got to use the right sort of black fine line pen. I'm using 0.2. If you use 0.2 or 0.4, that's fine. No other one is really acceptable. If you start using 0.7, 0.8, you've got about a 2mm thick line, and it's just an absolute mess. So get the correct pen first and foremost. So let's have a look then at how we would actually write some information. So first of all, it's important that you write horizontally across the page. So I'm writing horizontally across the page. Okay, that's exactly what we want. What we don't want is writing uphill. That's definitely not the case. Or downhill. So I don't mind if you need to tilt your page, but you've got to write from left to right across the page, parallel to the actual borders of the page. Next thing, it's very, very important, however you decide to do it, that you use block capital letters. This is so that you can communicate the information really clearly. I'll just show that again. The same word written out in capital letters. What we don't want, even if your handwriting is neat, we don't want lowercase. We don't want a mixture of upper and lowercase letters, and we definitely don't want the dreaded joined up, which, to be quite frank with you, just looks a mess. So we know that we've got to write left to right across the page. We know that we've got to write in uppercase letters only. So what happens if you make the dreaded error? So here we go. I'm doing my written work, my annotations nice and neatly, but unfortunately I've spelt the words incorrectly. One straight freehand line with your fine line pen straight through it. That is the correct way. Any other way is unacceptable. It just ends up looking like a mess on the page, and what happens is the eye will be drawn to the mess on your page. So this sort of thing, or this sort of thing, these are all exactly what we don't want. Okay, they're all definitely no. So if you do make an error, one straight line through the error is absolutely fine. The other thing is the arrowheads, and we want arrowheads to be drawn correctly, and many students again start off by drawing this sort of thing, a nice neat arrowhead which has the head coloured in. Well, the arrowhead itself then dominates the design. I'll show you a different way. There's the same sort of arrowhead, not coloured in, but it will dominate the design. Again, this type of arrowhead will dominate the design. The type of arrowhead we want is long and slender. Long and slender. And there's 2 or 3 good examples of exactly the way to do it. So basically, let's just recap. Text from left to right across the page. We don't want it going uphill, we don't want it going downhill. Change the position of your booklet or your design page so that it's going across the actual page itself. The words that we write, the annotations, need to be in block capital letters, not lowercase or lower capital letters, not a mixture of the two, and most definitely not joined up. You're trying to communicate information, you need to do so clearly. If you make any type of error, one straight line with your fine line pen, don't try to actually remove black fine line pen with an eraser. Don't use your whiteout, put one straight line through it, freehand line. No scribble, however that might appear. Again, this will dominate the page and not this. We want to read the information, not look at the scribble. Then we've got our arrowheads. Now when you do draw these, and I'll demonstrate this very shortly, the arrowhead itself should touch the part of the design that you want to say something about. If it's a general annotation, you can basically touch the design anywhere. We don't want these large chunky heads that are coloured in, or large chunky heads that are not coloured in, or an arrow of this type. We want long, slender arrows that touch the object and don't dominate. So these arrows themselves are all ready for some text to be written at the end of them horizontally across the page. As time goes on and you develop your own design style, you may change the shape of that arrow itself. So the next short demonstration will be how to actually apply those skills to a design concept. Thanks very much.